It's Friday, January 18th. I'm Paul Hukalak. Welcome to TV7.ca News. Today, we talk about some local businesses that have closed. Chicago is coming to the Arden Theatre, and we talk about the city's snow clearing policies. But first,
are you in favor of the city proceeding with further planning of additional aquatic space? That was the question that 57% of St. Albertans answered yes to on the 2017 ballot. There is some talk about adding two 25-meter lanes to Service Place with an additional teaching pool and change room addition. However, this idea is receiving some criticism from the aquatic community, who are concerned that adding two 25-meter swimming lanes is grossly undersized. Some members of the community suggest that as many as 8 50-meter lanes are required to meet the current demand, which would more than likely require a new facility. Councillor Natalie Jolly weighs in, quote, "We haven't added lanes appropriate for lane swimming since before I was born. My preference is to add them as part of a new facility, but with the scarcity of serviced land, that might not be possible for a few years," end quote. Some residents suggest perhaps a new facility could be located in Grandin if the existing Grosvenor Pool and Grandin Clubhouse were removed. The city's beloved outdoor pool has served the community since 1967, and the suggestion of its removal instantly drew criticism. Clearly, this is a complex issue that affects many people in our community. What do you think? Leave your comments below. We'd love to hear from you.
Michelle Parker has some great tips for us on how to get into shape this new year in our Let's Get Fit segment.
All right, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about mixing things up. So the Canadian Activity Guide promotes that we should be aiming for 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity per week. So this could be things like indoor cycling, going for a brisk walk, maybe going out for a night of dancing, some ice skating with your friends, or taking in a new fitness class. We want to aim it to do in 10 minutes or more. And in doing this, we're going to be doing things like reducing our risk of premature death, heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, certain types of cancer, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, being overweight and obesity, and many other elements. Doing this activity can lead to improved fitness, strength, as well as mental health, morale, and self-esteem. These can lead to positive impacts in both work as well as at home. I have witnessed people standing taller and prouder. I have seen pride in people's faces as they completed their first 5-kilometer run, thinking they couldn't do it. I've heard stories from family members commenting on how nice their parents are to be around. And I personally have been grateful for the speedy recoveries that come from injuries and illnesses when they fall to those we love when they are in good fitness. All right, today's move of the week, it is the push-up. The push-up targets so many muscles. It's got our triceps in there, our biceps, our deltoids, our rhomboids, our traps, and so much more. And there's lots of alternatives with this exercise. There's your tricep push-up and your shoulder tap push-up is just 2 examples. So without further ado, I'm going to actually demonstrate what our push-up is going to look like for us. So when you're coming down into your push-up, we're going to start in what we refer to as plank set position. So with that plank set position, I want to make sure your wrist is stacked underneath that shoulder. So I don't want to see you back here. Make sure you're centered over top of those wrists. Your glutes are engaged. So we're going to squeeze those butt cheeks. We're going to squeeze our quads and hamstrings. So we have a nice strong and long line from your shoulders all the way down to your heels, drawing that belly button up towards your spine. From here, we're going to take it down into your push-up, lowering down in one smooth movement and coming back up. Now, there's lots of variations. One would be to drop down onto your knees, lowering your chest towards the floor and bringing it up. Now, whether you're doing it from your toes or from your knees, what I do not want to see is that your pelvis drops down, arching and putting pressure on the back. Always make sure it's elevated and engaged as you lower down and press back up. Now, if you find these two not the right move for you yet, think about putting a bench, a chair, coffee table, or doing it off of a wall. Lots of options for starting, and this will slowly progress your way down to the floor when you're ready. All right, that's our move of the week, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining us here today. And from TV7.ca News, I'm Michelle Parker.
City crews performed snow clearing of residential streets last week. Currently, the city's policy is to only perform residential street clearing when we reach an average of 6 to 9 centimeters of packed snow. This process takes about 10 days and costs around $400,000. The City of St. Albert attempts to be as fair as possible in the order of clearing, using factors such as geographical challenges, mobility issues, waste collection schedules when creating its snow clearing plan. If, after the snow clearing, you find large chunks of snow on your sidewalk, you can call Public Works at 780-459-1557 and they will send a crew back to clean the extra snow. In addition to the arterial roads and residential streets, Public Works is also responsible to remove snow from the city's sidewalks and trails. After a snowfall of 1 to 5 centimeters, the Public Works Department sends out plowing and sanding equipment so that we can enjoy the trail system year-round. The Red Willow Trail system, St. Albert Place, and the transit terminals receive the top priority with the goals of sweeping to a snow-free surface within 8 hours of a snowfall. If you have snow clearing questions, you can always check out the city's website.
And as you may have heard, the St. Albert Best Buy has closed. With more on this story, here's Lisa Rufiange.
Last night, Best Buy in St. Albert closed for the last time. This location was only open for a few years, replacing the Future Shop in 2015. The reasons for the closure are unclear, leaving some to speculate that perhaps it was due to poor stock levels and pressures from online retailers. Regardless of the reasoning behind the closure, it does bring up an often too familiar question. Why can't businesses seem to survive in St. Albert? O'Malley's, St. Albert Taxi, and Saviour's Cafe are just a few of the local shops that have closed their doors in the past few months. Even Hull's Greenhouse was forced to restructure a few years ago. So what can we do as a community to support our local economy? Is shopping local even important to most of us anymore? If our retailers, professionals, service providers, and of course IPTV channels are not supported, chances are they won't be here when we need them. For TV7.ca, I'm Lisa Rufiange.
Kelly Killick of the Facebook group Shop Local St. Albert added, quote, "Being a part of the St. Albert community for over 30 years, our goal was to create a Facebook page that would act as a hub to share posts from new and existing businesses. Shop Local St. Albert started as a feel-good project and quickly became a community initiative. We hope that it brings awareness and drives customers to businesses that may not be able to afford other forms of advertising." On today's Business Spotlight, we meet Paula from Creative Business Solutions.
My name is Paula Roade. My business is Creative Business Solutions, and we're a digital marketing agency. Not traditional digital marketing agency. We're more specifically geared towards small and startup businesses in St. Albert. The main challenge for the businesses that I deal with in St. Albert is the transition from just like a home-based business to like a real online business. Most people do word-of-mouth referrals, that type of thing, and we help them sort of get into more of the digital realm. What makes us unique is that we're not just like web-based. We also do the back end, like the business process side of it. So, for example, we do everything from bringing in a POS system into your business to setting up like how your administration back end runs. It's not just we'll do a website and walk away. We're also looking for more of a like a long-term relationship with our clients. So we want to service them for many years to come. We're not just a one-stop kind of operation. So we're based out of St. Albert, mainly because we live in St. Albert, and also St. Albert is quite a business-minded community. There's a large number of small businesses coming out of St. Albert, and so we find that we want to support our local community. Our website is www.creativebusiness.com, and creative is spelled a little different. It's K-R-E-8-T-I-V-E.
Well, Belrose Composite High School will be presenting Chicago in the next few weeks at the Arden Theatre. You can enjoy the musical on February 5th through to the 7th at 7 p.m. And along with the evening shows, they will also be performing a matinee at 11:30 on the 6th. We talked to one of the stars in this musical about why productions like this are so important for students.
Well, I mean, it gives like having these classes and having the kids going out to actual theaters and performing there gives them kind of sort of like a taste of what it's like if they actually went into the profession. Like they get to see firsthand what all takes. You get to have the different crews for costuming, and you get to see the tech crew in action and everything. You really get set in perspective of how much work it actually takes to put on one of these shows. And a lot of it is community work. The only way that we can get people to find out about our shows is just people in the community talking about it.
Come help support the young talent and promote the arts in our community by getting your tickets at the Belrose High School office. The evening shows on Wednesday and Thursday night are $20. The matinee and the opening night tickets are only $10. We do have a couple of tickets to give away for the matinee showing. If you'd like to enter, please send us a Facebook message or email us at news@tv7.ca.
Today on Financial Focus, Crystal Lucier talks about some important dates that might affect you or your business.
I want money.
There are many important dates in the tax world, many dates that you need to keep in mind. A lot of people ask me, what are my filing dates? I've heard April 30th, I've heard June 15th. Your personal tax filing date is April 30th. That's the date that your taxes have to be filed and that any balances due have to be paid. If you own a proprietorship, your year automatically falls calendar year, January to December. You have to file during tax season on your personal taxes, but your filing date is June 15th. The problem is that if you owe any funds, you still have to make sure that those are paid by April 30th. So I usually encourage my proprietorship clients to file by April 30th anyway, but you do have until the 15th. If you've made installment payments, then you have that extra wiggle room. T4s come out to everybody. February 28th is the filing deadline for employers. They have to be filed and registered with CRA by that date, which means that by the time they come to you in Canada Post, I don't recommend that people start filing until March 15th because you wouldn't have received your T4s by then. T5s, which are dividends, have the same filing date. They have to go out by February 28th and also have to be included on your personal taxes. There are a number of other filing dates that are important. Child tax benefit comes out on the 20th of every month. GST benefits get paid to you quarterly. And if you're a corporate business owner, your year-end date is not necessarily, and I don't recommend it to be, January to December. You can pick any month within the first 53 weeks of owning and registering your corporation. This is Crystal Lucier with TV7.ca.
I want money.
Last week, St. Albert City Council held a strategic planning session to review progress on their 2018 to 2021 strategic plan. There was some great discussion on all of the priorities, with a focus on how to continue to make advances on achieving the plan's goals. Mayor Kathy Heron said, quote, "This year's retreat was a great opportunity for Council to reflect on the work to date and determine if we are on the right path. The work done over the past 2 days affirms the work done in 2018 to create a 4-year vision for this council to advance key priorities identified by the community." End quote. Discussion focused on how to make further advances to the existing priorities while maintaining the high level of service in core service areas. It was determined that no additions or changes are required to the plan for this year. For more information about this planning session, please visit the city's website.
And that is it for this week. Once again and always, if you have any community events or news you'd like to share with our viewers, please send us an email at news@tv7.ca. And from all of us at TV7.ca, I'm Paul Huckalak. Have a great week.